Being in the civil service is a call to special service in the society. Rising in ranks to the top of civil service is another layer of commitment to service. But being diligent and devoted to duty while in service is a distillation of character of the finest grade. Null 24 Television had an exclusive interaction with a man who came to civil service, saw, and conquered. Sir Augustine Ede Oghoro, the just retired Permanent Secretary of Delta State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, has this to say about his voyage in civil service that spanned Bende State through to Delta State, having served numerous military administrators and civilian governors. Retirement, though still counting in hours, but it might look like a long while. How has it been for you, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I had looked forward to retirement from the day I commenced my journey working in the civil service back there in Bendel. So I actually joined the service of Bendel State, April 2nd, 1990. And from what we were taught in school, actually you start saving from day one you get employed, so that retirement is not stress for you. So to me, just now, that long journey of 35 years has come to reality, and a few things, by the grace of God, one had been able to do for self, for family, are now counting as source of succor at retirement. So it's just about 24 hours now I'm retired, but truly speaking, I'm so excited. Waking up when I wanted, yeah, and I woke up today, like, the calls are limited, and took a drive around town, came back, just looking at how best to reprogram my activities to make sure that only that which is essential I will do now. Spend time, engage in community service. When I say community service, okay, go to church, yeah, more regularly and in a very relaxed mood. Attend landlords meetings, okay. Also attend towns union meetings, alumni association, and of course, whatever issues are brought to my knowledge, I should be able to, with the word of experience, how much information I can gather around, support people who need my services. So in all of this, I think I'm not compelled to do anything just the way the service had programmed my life for the past 35 years. So I'm so excited and appreciate God for this.
Interesting time it is. How would you describe your voyage in civil service?
Oh yes, precisely. My duty tours, yeah, have been very, very exciting. Exciting to the effect that, one, I applied to do the job. So any duty I found on my way, any responsibility I'm charged with, I try to see how best I can master the job and deliver. Because back then in school, we were taught the customer is always right. Then you ensure you please your customer, and if you did, the chances are that the customers will come back tomorrow. So being a civil servant, the customer is the man on the street, not the boss. Okay, we all are working together to please the general public. So as for Delta State, anybody that comes to me, any mail I have to treat, any file, any requisition I have, I look at it that there is a subject behind the requisition, the mail, the matter that had to be treated. And that subject has a soul. Inanimate, animate, but of course I look at it from that perspective. So in doing it, of course, before you get to me to say, oh please, oh I'm done with your matter, and it helps me to objectively look at things and be dispassionate. Most likely you always get fair judgment, yeah, in your favor. So at every point in time, this has helped me. I worked with 5 military administrators, military governors then, they call them administrators. So this aspect of directives, quick actions. Yeah, I got that from the military. Then, for a whole lot of years, I had to administer oath of office on public servants. And of course, from the oath, we call it from the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But from there are very serious words, weighty and strong languages, which of course should shape how you do your job. So because I do that always, it's like it's part of me. So by the time I too had to subscribe to the oath of office, it's like, is this what these people had been going through? So that helped to put me in a perspective that made life a lot easier. So I look at everybody same. I deal with all matters without fear or favor, affection or ill will. I only pray that God should help me. So I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I just feel that, what is worth doing is worth doing well. So when I worked as a junior officer, I always learn from my bosses. I get guided. By the time I became a director, assistant director, before I became a PS, of course I knew that, responsibilities are here and I have to take charge. Then by the time I became a PS, with the oath of office, it's like you can't change. So every time you're doing something, those readings, they come. Say, do well to all manner of persons. So what are you doing? And from government house to Desopadek in Warri, to Minister of Agriculture, Office of the SSG, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, and of course supervising agriculture again, what people say about how you handle things, the procedures, the speed. Those were the things that motivated me to say, this is the best way. And today, I'm happy that people there are happy. I'm happy people say, sir, we'll miss you. Yes, anybody could say, we'll miss you. But when people say it with so much emotion, and you find adults even shedding tears, then it's like, it's been a wonderful journey through this service. And I thank God for it.
Bureaucracy is something most people perceive as cumbersome, but to others, it is gratifying. What did you find gratifying? What are the positives you found in bureaucracy?
Yeah, thank you very much. For my duty tours, I have come to appreciate the bureaucratic processes. Max Weber talked about bureaucracy, sociology, and so on. That's school days. And of course, in practical terms, bureaucracy offers a platform where everyone connected with the subject matter contributes towards the decision making. So it's open. Perhaps that's why they say public service is open. So if you have everyone conduct himself dutifully, does his own bit of the job, speedily, add value, of course, that gives everybody an idea of what has taken place. Okay, that's the beauty of bureaucracy. And of course, it is hierarchical, top down, bottom top, and so on and so forth. So you work within some guidelines. Okay, the latitude may be wide, may be narrow, and so on and so forth. But all of these help us to ensure that government services, truly speaking, public service, is well conducted to the benefit of the people. So to me, bureaucracy is one of the most amazing things I have. But on the other side, you find people constitute cog in the wheel of progress, either because of lack of knowledge, either because of ignorance, or maybe for personal gain. So where you have all of those factors playing, it can be very frustrating, it can be tedious, it can be nasty. And that's where people complain. Otherwise, I get to the office, I have 5 mails on my desk. Go through, treat with dispatch. They go. The next officer lower in rank conduct the business the same way. A matter should be handled within 24 hours, 48 hours max, get ratified, and you communicate the outcome. So bureaucracy allows everybody from, for instance, the commissioner down to the desk officer, back up there, and the output is produced. But in doing this, somebody tells you, sir, as I was coming to work, the engine of my car dropped. He had said so. So you give him time to go and recouple the engine of the car. But of course, between you and I, that may not be correct. The same man, 2 days after, we tell him, oh, sir, I'm not in the office yet because as I was coming, there was, hold up on the way. In Asaba, hold up, that will keep you, okay. See me as soon as you get to the office. The entire day, you will get the man. Then, beyond that, so as I was coming, these keke people, they can be very reckless. You already know what he's going to tell you. Keke, so what happened? So they ran into me. So what's there now? You need to settle this. Okay. So if we have people give excuses in this form and manner, because they want to stay away from work, because they want to delay processes, because they want people to come and give gratification, then the bureaucracy that is so straightforward, so amazing, allows everybody to see it. Yeah, the process is truncated because it gets to that man. You can't go and withdraw it. He's not there to treat it. You can't get him to get somebody else to do it. Yeah. So in the eyes of the public, we who are the bureaucrats, we are problems. But bureaucracy itself is the most beautiful thing that I've seen. And it worked for me. And I'm glad that I've copied a few things from the process.
Besides the responsibilities inherent in the office, let's look at the person in office. Let's walk down your disposition to service. People say they have problem distinguishing between your Christian living, your dedication to Christian life, and your work ethics. How naturally does this come to you? How do you strike a balance?
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Like I've said, the duty tour, 35 years. Yeah, it's a good time at cities now to evaluate, look back and see how well we have done, and what were the factors that had affected how one behaved and how things were done. Now, the society is composite, okay? We are born into the society, okay? We come out in our nature, God's given nature, male or female, right? Light, dark-skinned, and so on and so forth. So we come into the environment, which is the society. So the environment has ways and means of affecting what the human person will be. Okay? Yeah. For me, I was born into a Christian family, and I cherish the history of my Christianity. Yeah, I didn't go to a crusade, a gathering, and you had people talk to me, and I said, "Oh, I give my life to Christ." It's not so. But that had happened decades before I was born. Yeah. Graphically, I'll tell you this. I was told my late grandfather was the best of the traditional healers you could find in his days, in his time, in his community. That if you needed to consult the spirit, people traveled from far and wide to meet him, because if he said the outcome is yes, it is yes. If he says no, it is no. So they knew him to be that. He was reputed to be a good man in that respect. We're told that he had to become a Christian because the little daughter that was born to him in the early 30s or so refused to eat, refused to suck, refused to drink for over a week. So I was like, what could this be? So the man who used to consult for others needed to find out what the problem was. He tried, and it's like, the little infant was saying that I'm from a Christian home, therefore nothing untoward should come to my system. Therefore, that's why the child refused. But the child was alive, the child was good, healthy. So he now said, let me consult others. So everywhere he got to, it's the same story. He came back home, called a pastor, in my area then, Baptist Mission. called the pastor. Oh, yeah, I want to join you. Okay? He was determined. He said, I want to join you. And he did. Go to the Baptist church. They came, prayed, did exorcism, removed everything away. And he never went back. So the child was saved. Okay? Then he had a son, my late uncle, who attended the teacher's college, St. Thomas's, Ibuzo, to be precise. He got back home to tell his father that, oh, we're in the Baptist mission, but the origin of Christianity is found in the Catholic Church. So he asked him if it was true. He gave him some stories. And he said, okay, he had never been a second-class citizen. So I'll join you. So that's how he moved with his family to the Catholic Church. And on getting there, it's like, oh, one man, one wife. And I said, if that is the case, for the sake of this child, I do one man, one wife. Okay? He got his own father. Now my great-grandfather, late, prayed for, absorbed into Catholicism on his dying bed. So that is my background. So it's like anytime they tell me that story, say, hey, so this is a gift. This is to be treasured. So we need to hold this firmly. So that's how we came in. And you go to church, they tell you every day, the entire Bible is summarized in love of God, love of neighbor. Okay? So if that is it, now you are a graduate, you have a degree, you studied psychology, studied philosophy, studied economics, political science, sociology, all the theories. Yeah, you have. And all of them relate to you and I. Okay? So we join the service. Oh, public service. You're serving the you and I relationship. So why would you do things differently? If you did, people will come to say, hi, but you preach this, you're doing this. Okay? Now, I also was fortunate. I worked with supervisors in the service who would not ask you, give me A for B. People saw them as being snobbish and so on. But I liked it. So having done that, having come to position of authority, it's like, hey, before you get to my doorstep, the matter is done. Then those who walk around me, they see how I run the affairs of the office. They too, it's like, he wouldn't like this. So before you get here, matters. So sometimes I step out of my office, see what they're doing. Not necessarily because I want to check whether they are indolent, but just to make sure that their tables are not crowded. So going forward, people now begin to say, oh, he does this because he's a Christian. Yeah, so it's the people who are making the judgment. He acts this way because he's a Christian. Of course, one should be proud of that. Then, but because you're a Christian, you need to be very careful. You got to say, in the Christian, you know, the kind of thing. So you need to balance the two. Then, to put me in check and a proper perspective. So what I do is, I hold my chaplet, the rosary. I display it conspicuously, right? While I say it in my private corner. So when I see the rosary, I see the crucifix, it's like, hey, man, these people are tempting you. Yeah. So that is how the pattern of life had been. Then with all of what we learned, there's the oath of office, oath of secrecy, and the need to help people. Yeah, all of these have guided my disposition towards work. And I've seen that most times people are happy, they're excited, you're doing things differently. And of course, what else do you yearn for? Yeah, people say you're doing things differently. Okay, that means some people are not doing it right. People telling you, oh, you're a good gentleman. Of course, what else do you ask for now? So all you need to do now is come back and say, God, I'm sorry. There are so many things these people don't even know that I could do and that I'm doing. You have shielded me. Saved me from controversy. Saved me from scandal. Right? Then let me just be at peace with everybody. And it means to help me so that I don't have to regret the course of action. So that's been it. And by Tuesday, when I woke up Tuesday night, I was just thanking God. So I was able to do this. I was able to do this. By yesterday morning, like, oh, it's all over. I made it. So going forward now, all those strings that bureaucracy will bring, regulations, rules, secular, that belong to government. I can be free, and truly speaking, freer. So God gives me health. Yeah, I should go back. Community. So what are the issues? I have an idea, have the ideas from the office, and still continue. This has to be because the responses, the kind of greetings, salutations, been overwhelming. That means, however, maybe tough people would have said, they appreciated what I had done. So God keeping us. The best thing is, make sure you don't let those people down. To say, after I retired, he became some monster. So I'm praying to God to just keep me and see how much I could do. Of course, I'm Catholic, so I cannot go to the seminary and become a priest again. I had wanted to say, okay, when I leave service, I will go to catechetical school, train to become a catechist. Okay? Yeah, but even if I did that now, I may just become so limited. Yeah, attend to church matters. So, but either way, what I need to do is just hold on to God. What I need to do is to see how much I can pass that baton I got decades before I was born and was bequeathed unto me to the next generation. Yeah, I just need to encourage them to say, this is what I got. Time is going. You too need to pick it. This is the secret of the trade. So that you run on. Say, any day that is no more, it's like all is well. And to me, I have done my best. So that's been the relationship, that's been the motivation. And I sincerely thank God over and over again for the opportunity, for direction, and that I made it.
Well, life beyond service and other spheres of life that you've not been able to explore because of the confinement of your office and the responsibilities inherent in civil service. But before then, let's look at an impression that people had about you. I could hear from certain quarters that you are one of the longest serving permanent secretaries. I don't know how true this is. The pinnacle of civil service is the office of the head of service. Some are of the opinion that there would have been atmosphere where you would have been made the head of service. Interestingly, I have been in occasions where you had to represent the head of service. Has this prevailing impression ever filtered into your ears? How have you been able to keep your composure, keep your mind and heart in one place, give your best in the light of this circumstance?
Yes, this is very interesting. Yes, and I'm happy to talk about this. That I'm out of office. Yeah, the civil service, the apex is to get appointed a permanent secretary. And when you're a permanent secretary, from the financial instructions, you are the accounting officer of whatever ministry, department, agency you man. So beyond that is exit. That's what it is. That's how I understand it. And that's what has kept me running. So if you, by virtue of nature, natural elimination, those who came in first get retired, of course you begin to progress, right? So if it's your turn, of course the appointment is by seniority. Yeah, though the chief executive can exercise discretion, but the best thing to save you stress, to save you attacks, and to get the man who becomes the head, get the loyalty of and the cooperation of all other permanent secretaries, is the best to make the most senior, except he has issues, disciplinary actions or anything. So that's the trajectory. But like I said, His Excellency the Governor, the Chief Executive Officer, can exercise discretion. But that discretion has to be cautious so that you don't disrupt the chain. Okay? So to me, yeah, people had said, oh, you should become the head of service. All right? Okay. Or we pray you become the head of service. Okay. So if you have the head of service, the most senior, he's not retiring yet. Of course, you can't force him out of office because you want somebody to be head of service. No. I don't subscribe to that. So when people say it's fine. There are instances people have said, we pray this. I find it very embarrassing when I have to say amen. Yeah, because you're not going to kill the man there. You're not going to eliminate him. So how is this going to be? Though with God, nothing is impossible. But we don't pray for, we don't deserve all of that. Now, to me, the greatest fulfillment is being a permanent secretary and how best you are able to perform your duties. The head of service is first among equals. So it's not necessarily that's not a career post, as it were. So whether you are Mr. Head of Service or people imagine that you should be and you couldn't be, there's no misgiving. All is well. You have your space. You perform. So yes, the longest serving permanent secretary, to the glory of God. Yeah, because I truly got recognized early enough, and it's like the opportunity was there. Okay, have it. And when the opportunity came and I had it, there was the issue of how do I sustain this? Okay, how do I sustain this? So much confidence has been reposed on you. So you need to demonstrate that you had not been pretending all along, and you really can hold your head high. So that was more of a greater challenge, and getting to run along and achieve this was going to be more fulfilling than become Mr. Head of Service. But if the chance was there, oh, fine. And if the chance comes, it's greater responsibility. You still need to live above board. So if I'm just where I am, by the grace of God, retired, longest serving, had to take responsibility of 3 ministries at the same time. The intricate administrative procedures, nobody thought about it. And God kept me, and I ran it, and I'm out. To me, yeah, it's better than any other office you will offer me in the circumstance. So, whatever people say, that's their opinion. Whatever God had ordained would be. And to become permanent secretary, my brother, from where you come from, no godfather in the system to say, do this, do this. Oh, I put a word for my word and so on. You just came out, you just thank God. Perhaps God kept you from being head of service to make you avoid some things that would drag you down. So, yes, people said all of those things, but inwardly, I'm just smiling. So when you come out to say, it's retiring. Oh, wish it was Mr. Head of Service. To me, it's like, I'm retiring, feeling so fulfilled, thanking God, and I'm happy to live. So most of them don't know my mood and disposition, but just thank God for this. Perhaps He has greater positions for you. It may not necessarily be civil service. Yeah, but if you keep on doing this, then of course there's also the promise, which of course sometimes we don't take into consideration what is real. The promise that at the end of life's journey, you'll be somewhere perpetual happiness. But that's better. So whether the position of the head of service people had wished you become, yes, that too may just be there. This guy can perform this well. If he gets there, he could make things a lot better. That was their personal wish. The system allowed it, fine. But like I said, discretion is allowed, but not to rock the boat. And of course, before I left, the retired head of service, we had 3 days gap. Okay? Some people even say, can he not just function? I got confronted. I said, function for how many hours? Do you know what it takes to move from this point to go function? Then a few hours you step out. They say the name. And what is in a name? So like the ideologies were clashing. But really speaking, thank God I maintained my cool. Thank God I was not over ambitious. Thank God to that. I feel very contented with what I have. What people demonstrated yesterday upon my exit, which I felt was going to be calm, solemn. Hey, go, come, please. I hand over to you. But before I came out of the office, like everywhere was full. People had donated drinks, had donated snacks, people had donated vans with music. So it's like, oh, is this what you guys could do? Oh, I'm fine. While you enjoy yourself, let me just sit down in my car. Yeah, just offer thanks to God. That, it's been so well. So they are happy. And truly speaking, I'm praying for all of them that they joined me to do what I couldn't do as a person. To come out, shout, thank God, sing and dance. They did all of that on my behalf. So my earnest desire is God should meet them at their individual points of need. Those who needed healing, as they were dancing, God heal them. Those who had issues back home, before coming to the office, as they get home, there should be some lifeline. Yeah, that is the best way man should reason. And somehow, I think the background from the home has influenced all of this, not anything that I read in books.
You've had the uncommon opportunity of stretching yourself in service. Being a permanent secretary in a ministry or in an agency is a handful. But having to manage and oversee more than one, where you have to attend to multiple commissioners, is an uncommon stretch. I must say that this has reposed in you enormous knowledge and experience that could become a template. What are those areas that should be sustained? And what are other areas that, if you had your way, would be redesigned?
Yeah, again and again, thank you for the opportunity to tell the world what I feel about my journey in the service, the civil service of Delta State. From onset, I had this rare opportunity of serving 2 masters at a time. Okay. When I was working with the military administrators, much younger officer, of course, the military, they want their things done quickly, sharply, no waste of time. I had my immediate boss, and of course, there are military assistants, a whole lot of the ADC, and so on. So when it becomes so hot, I've got the boss, elderly, he wants to chicken out. So it's like, hey, you are the one there, tell us. So try to manage the situation. And of course, by the time the civilian administration came in, at that point, I also served as the private secretary to military administrators. So you work with the military administrator, you work with the secretary to the state government, you work with your director general, permanent secretary, threefold. And of course, all you need to do is you treat them independently. You need to exert yourself to make sure that no one was displeased. And doing that as a young officer, it's like, all I need is God save me, God save me. So you put all the effort, sometimes you work 12 hours, 13 hours in a day, just to make sure you balanced the books and the arrangement. So, and it came to a point where I had to serve 3 commissioners. It's like, going back to what I used to know I used to do. So I will run on a typical day, run in the office, attend meetings, get people to develop minutes, get the resolutions, do work plan on how the resolutions could be implemented, feedback. So in getting all of that, you're interacting with people, then the files are growing, the mails are growing. So of course, they will get tired. They don't have my background. So I sit down, sort. The easy ones you prepare, fine. So by the following day, the secretarial staff will deal. The rest you take home. Some people will tell you, an officer who takes files home, it's a lazy officer. But my case was different. So I get back home. Of course, by the time I get home, it's like, I can't do anything again. So by 7 a.m., I resume work. I have my study. Early hours, you're at home, you're not harassed, there's no pressure. So you run from 7 to about 8:39. Then you take the calls. Of course, the commissioners are calling, XYZ. So you take all of them, then push those workload to the office so that the people there are not idle, they are working. So you prepare, you get to the office. They receive all the bullets again. So it became just the routine. But the important thing is, this is what you want, this is how it should be done, it's done. For you, it's done. And the arrangement was such that below the level of the directors, you now have bifurcation, primary, secondary. So you drill down and get result. For Agric, it was good because I had served 5 years in Agric, and that period we struggled to change it from culture to business and get people to benefit. When people see the returns, margin of returns, and could do it, of course, you don't need to force them. Everybody was coming, want to take government, participate in government programs at simple interest, 6%. 6% single digit. Central bank then was doing 9%. But we told the government, this is Delta now. It has to be captivating. Reduce to 6%. You ordinarily would do it free. 6%. So, okay. 6% simple interest. So it's not compound interest. So people were coming. Then you follow up. You mentor them. They made their earnings. They paid back. When I was in Agric, we had up to 80% success rate in recovery. Okay, so I already knew what to do. And by the time I got back there, just asked, what happened? How did we get to go down? So let's rev up. Okay, so had this contingency management style. It's not anywhere in any book. And of course, by the grace of God, I had very understanding commissioners. They too felt, man, the system want to drain you totally. So they showed, they were empathetic. So we did this from here, move on here, and so on. To my person, health-wise, I think it truly affected me, but it's the grace of God that kept me on. At some point, it's like, when will all of this end? So 35 years has come and gone, so it's like, so relieved. People will say, your PS here, your PS here, your PS there, you must be enjoying. They don't know what it takes to run this. They don't even know that I was investing in all of that. But thank God, He made me make a choice of a career in civil service. He kept me, He prepared me for the final stage. And of course, thank God, we came out of it successfully. Now, the simple lessons drawn is, one, you have to be patient. You have to be accommodating. You have to exert energy. And that energy you exert is not you thinking this is what I want to do. It's like at some point, by divine grace, the brain gets open, expanded. He who gave you the responsibility now equips you to do the job. I enjoyed that. But the sad note is, why you do all of this, there are people, quite a number, they will take you for granted. Anything you write to a guy, he will correct it. Therefore, all kinds of junks, they just do it haphazardly and drop. Okay, there's nothing you can do. The man has told you that I do things haphazardly. If you ask him to go and redo it, you're going to cause problem. Bring it, no problem. So it's like you're marking a script, a WIRE script. I've marked it. Go back and reproduce. To a competent officer, he now knows the focus, the style of the supervisor. He should now learn to adapt. But this keep repeating itself as if, now you want to work now, take. So that's something that we need to correct and get the people to say, come, all of this you're doing tells so much about your character, about your person. You don't know where recommendations will be sought. And nobody will recommend somebody you mark the scripts every day at a very senior level. And if there's the opportunity, of course, we'll tell the head of service, bring these people together, talk to them. Whatever you do now will affect you tomorrow, whether in service or out of service. Okay? Then there are those who, something I had reflected upon. In my place, there's the black soap. Okay? And in my place, the black soap, you use some leaves to wrap the soap. And if you did wrap it, with time, the leaf becomes soapy, right? So we've had civilian administration 1919 to date. There are people who were there in the service prior to coming of civilian administration. Those guys still feel, yeah, we have something to offer. Civilian administration came, some persons who ordinarily should be political aides because of lack of vacancy on the other side had to join the service. And there's no way we can remove the leaf from the soap without having the soapy. Yes, so this has become what the service is. And shouldn't necessarily be so. Because, soapy, leafy, and so on. Yeah, be on your own, we're on our own. But, once in a while, those guys can actually say, all of you sit down, take a bottle of beer each. They can pay because they serve two masters and they get benefit from one end. So you and I will just be looking at, we are dutiful, and of course we cannot offer beer to anybody. So let's join them. So now you have a bunch, critical mass in the service who are here and there. So when they see the political master who is ready to say, hey, you come around, they want to infiltrate. They're jettisoning what the service requires, what bureaucracy requires, what the rule says. Okay, we can just do it this way. Okay, we can just do it this way. Okay, don't mind permanent secretary. Yeah, that had to be. So that's a critical problem in the system for the system. Okay, now what is playing out most recently, you could see the new the executive governor of Delta State over time had parleys with civil servants, permanent secretaries with directors, permanent secretary, the recent one, with up to deputy directors. And what is the message? I want to work with you people. I want to succeed. You need to help me. So this is a window now to get this trend reversed. So if the governor will call you, come, let's sit down, let's have dinner. It's unprecedented. So what's your own? Okay, yeah, we're ready to serve. So give the best of advice. You don't know what to do, ask questions. So for the new head of service coming in, this is one thing she could hold on to and make a difference. The governor is there, he wants to listen, he wants us to work, he wants government to have value for money, okay, so that we don't duplicate projects, so that we could do more projects for the benefit of all of us. Let's join him. When he has the time, he calls us for dinner. And of course, he's an honorable man. So, this person is a honorable man. He calls you for dinner. He says, the siegwari for all of you. In fact, I got my alert today for the last siegwari. So, what else do you crave for? So, the new head of service should latch on this window and get people to fall in line and get the narratives changed. So, if you have people who, at every point in time, we sit down to pray, we deliberate, we'll go out to do something different. It's a paradox. So let's get people to understand this. Get people to say, this call is a good one, welcome one. Let's be professional. Let's do our job well. Then everything. Yeah. So we would have corrected the wrong in the past, which of course led us to some kind of. So that's it by way of my experience. That's by way of what I have gained from the system, and also what I've noticed that not seemingly right, and the opportunity we now have to get it corrected.
Let us begin to pull the drones back home. An American will say, this is not the end. This is not even the beginning of the end. This rather is the end of the beginning. Colonel Sanders started Kentucky Fried Chicken at 66. You're young, you're strong, you're energetic. Rethinking the journey and the spheres of life ahead of you. What next?
Thank you very much. By way of ending, the narratives, which of course you aptly said, just the end of the beginning. So a new chapter opens. Okay. Yes, what I have in mind. Yeah, I've heard a few persons make comments, and if there's anything I enjoy most, I listen to people and I pick keywords. So I just pick and use it. I work with it. So I may not be too good at reading books, but yeah, anywhere I am, I listen. I pick one or two words, I move on. Yeah, the local ordinary of the Seliku Diocese, the bishop. Yeah, I think when I told him that, my Lord Bishop, I'm going back home now. I've done 35 years. He said, Austin, you're going on retirement. Say, what is it you're going to do with all the years ahead of you? You know? Yeah, yes. I sighed. I told him, well, I'm in God's hands. I'm in God's hands. But that's a message. That's okay. From him, yeah, God will provide you with more years. I claimed it. Okay? And if that is the case, okay, you're energetic. God grants you good health. I claim it. So what do we do with all of this? If you ask me, it's like, okay, rest from work. Okay, so rest from what kind of work? Yeah, there's so many things one could do. What I had done 35 years is government service. And beyond government service, there are other services. And all of this center on people. So what is it one could do? Yeah, I worked in the agri sector. That period, I think, is God provided it. To say, my son, look beyond the routine service and so on and so forth. That's the real sector. And while I was there, I was privileged to work with the officials of the central bank in Delta branch. I had a second office there because they bring programs. The programs were programs that are not amenable to Delta environment. So we'll sit down to say, hey, this is Delta State. Okay, so yeah, development economic experts have background in economics. Let's sit down. So the issue is, this cannot come from them. Okay, no problem. So give me space. So I go back. We'll redesign. We'll reconstruct. I will tell you, this is Delta. They forward to Abuja. Abuja will say, okay, it's a different opinion. Okay, let's see how it will work. Yeah, so we're able to attract things. We saw a few of these things work. Yeah, where there were issues, we also knew where the issues were. So I would say I have some experience in development finance. So what is needed for us to grow is, one, produce what we eat, reduce the pressure on the forex, okay? Depend less on imports, reduce pressure on forex, provide jobs for people. Okay? Once people are busy, they produce output. The output will grow your GDP, national income. So that is a win-win situation. So from what I have learned from a few contacts I can make, what my focus is to see how best to support people to grow. Okay? If I supported them to grow, I'm the entrepreneur. Okay, I'm the chief operating officer. I too will get benefit. My mind will be working. Yeah, so that's what I want to do. And in doing that, I call it community service. So it could be the religious space, it could be the social space, it could be agribusiness, and so on and so forth. And if I'm succeeding, I want to spread the gospel. So that those who are skeptics, yeah, should come back. Because we read literature about Kenya, South Africa, Ghana. These are things we could do better here. So if we did it, our life is good for you, life is good for me. Yeah, everyone will be happy. So it's around the sphere of how to galvanize people within the immediate circles, the wider circles, and so on and so forth, to tell God, thank you. And in doing so, I don't think I'll be poorer. Rather, so then you get the people to understand that, yeah, there's dignity in labor. Our great-grandparents, our grandparents, for instance, by way of illustration, I have come to reason it, had to make exploits. They were migrants. They moved from one kingdom because of issues to another. We want our own space. Okay? Now, we were born into the system to have all of what they did. They never had chainsaws. They never had bulldozers. Yeah, but these crude implements were able to secure space. Oh, this is our community. In the community, this is the quarter. This quarter, oh, this is the share of the family. So we are here. We have technology. We have machines. We've gone to school, acquired degrees. We have a whole lot of things to do. So what we met, how are we going to improve on it? So that's the challenge. Which, of course, having left service, I want to see, how I can contribute to surmount these challenges. So if tomorrow we are no more, the children should say, oh, our dad did well. So community service, revolving around people, see how we can grow the GDP and consolidate what we got from our parents, grandparents. It's quite daunting, but I think I want to start small. And just move.
Let me on a lighter note say that not many people have been to this age, looked over and looked back in confidence. There are some of your folks who are still looking up to where you are today with understandable skepticism. What would be your advice to this?
For the period I had worked and for the period I had seen the system evolve, a few words for those who are still in the service, who eventually will become what I am today. Just few hours. I'm not a historian, but I look at what history tells us. Okay? When we joined the service in Benin, there was no room for growth. Everywhere was full. Okay? But God, in His mercy, caused Delta State to be created. All right? So we moved to Delta, all right? Part of Benin province, Delta North, and Delta came here. And of course, by the time we got here, it's like everywhere was vacant. Because those who constituted the population then the civil service from Edo State. Okay? So we had that opportunity. Okay, coming to Asaba, no infrastructure in terms of housing to receive the few people who had come. So some of us slept in classroom dormitories. Okay? Then some of us also had to take now what we get as off duties, okay, to be able to cope. We had a civilian governor, Governor Ibru, may he so rest in peace. Once in a while, they will just dole out palliatives to you. They add to your pay so that you can survive. So we had that. Then the military regime was there. Okay, it's dictatorial. You don't have a say. You just follow. Okay, we survived that. Then the civilians came. Oh, our brothers. We have representatives. Okay, so life was a lot easier. Okay, we had that. Then just recently, the last administration, we had 3 key events that shaped the way we did our things and so on, and as it affected civil servants. The administration of Governor Oghoro 2015 came in when the world was going through recession. So things were tough. You have your crude oil, no buyer. If they bought, cheap. And of course, you still needed to run government machineries and so on. You need to tell the people that, you voted for us, we do things for you. It was difficult. The administration survived by some measure. Then COVID, very strange occurrence, came and disrupted the world economy. In fact, we're all on our knees. To get out of COVID era was tedious. You need to spend more, not necessarily infrastructure this time to keep people alive and so on and so forth. Then with the cyclical recession, right? So what people, civil servants used to see, I can get this freely, I can get this. Yeah, we're now regulated. So people saw that administration as being tough, iron-handed, and so on and so forth. It was no fault of government. Things had changed. Okay, so from Benin, through military, through administration, up to Oghoro, things were no more the same. So the wise man should be one who should be futuristic in his planning. So you don't say, today, yeah, we have this here, tomorrow another one will come. No. You have to plan ahead. And if you waited to, 5 years to go, now is the time to prepare, you miss it. You fall into wrong hands, you make hasty decisions that will cost the system good fortune. So you become unpopular. So for those who are there, what they need to do, the best time to save for the future was yesterday. The next best is today, not tomorrow. So you need to look at your lifestyle, spending pattern. Then, above all, what you can contribute to add value to the system. So the system will recognize you. And once you are recognized, the system is liberal with you. So that's my advice to them. And we have great number of opportunities now. Here in Delta, solid mineral is not really prosperous. We have crude oil, that's federal government controlled. But the climatic condition here supports agriculture. So there's nothing wrong if you own a farm. Small one, grow bigger. Then support your family with what you get from there. Have something extra to sell. Earn some money from that. So when they say dollar is so expensive, what you are producing is also expensive. So you can now hedge. So this is the time to get them to prepare for the tomorrow, which is today for me now, so that they are not anxious, they're not panicky, because all of that could stress your organs, and it could precipitate some ailment, which will also cost fortune to maintain. So you don't need to do it. So what you need to do, if you can develop people, develop them, so that retirement, they are not issues to you. Yeah, they are not dependent. You are develop people if you could afford it. Develop some small side hustle, so that when you retire, you are not starting from the beginning, because if you did, the challenges of business environment could just sweep you under. So if you had that, people around you are somewhat independent of you, then of course, the small you get now, you can manage yourself. Okay? Then to do this, truly speaking, is not by might, it's not by power, it's by the grace of God. So look up to God, who is Alpha and Omega, to provide the succor, so that you can run. And as much as you can, be at peace with people. So when you come out, it's like, you can walk around the area. You can walk around the area, feel safe, so on. So we encourage everybody, do something in addition. So the days of Felix Ibru are over. The era of James Ibori, Odwan, that's over. The Oghoro regime came with all the issues. So we don't even know what lies ahead now. Yeah, during this administration, of course, we've had the Ukraine war with Russia. We thought it was not going to affect us much, but it had distorted supply chains as it affects food supply and agriculture. The wheat you get from Ukraine, it's not very easy to get it now. Yeah, Russia, Ukraine, they produce fertilizers. Just now, fertilizer is expensive. So the man who produces vegetable for you is spending more. That's why vegetable is expensive. So do something by way of side hustle. If you are a professional, services. If you are into the rural sector, like agriculture, some agribusiness, then let us put this together and get other people who are neither here nor there to key into any of these aspects. And I think retirement in that regard, I think, will be a very interesting time to do more based on your talent and availability of resources.
Where is the place of family in all of this?
In all of this, yes. Yeah, like I told you, you're born into the society. Society offers the environment to nurture you to become what you are. Okay. This essentially, that's when we say society, the smallest unit is the family. So you're born into a family, you grow in the family, your survival is a function of what the family is. If the family is good, you're well nourished, no hassles. But if the family is not too good, of course, you have issues. So to me, my wife has been so supportive. She shares my pains, all right? And of course, whatever it is that will upset me, she tries to minimize it. Because she knows the kind of job I've been into for the past 10 years. Quite tough, critical sectors. Okay? So that has been very, very good for me. So when I'm leaving home, there's no stress at home. So when I get to work, run the whole day. By the time I come back, small gossip I'll make with her. She keeps it silent, so nobody outside hears. Then she'll just say, she will offer the soothing balm by words. Okay, no problem. And it is so to the extent that she's not agitated. Hey, you go back tomorrow to face the business. Okay. Then of course the children are there, God's gift, precious gift to us. So they see mommy go out to work, daddy goes out to work, daddy returns late. Upon his return, bills of files. So it's like, oh, is this what daddy does? It's okay. So sometimes you say, oh, I don't want to eat. They ask you, so why don't you want to eat? Not madam now. Why don't you want to eat? So I don't have appetite. They get scared. There's a particular one of them who say, daddy, you must eat this food. So the authority has reversed. So, okay, no problem. So you take something, you know, daddy cannot finish everything, even if he's hungry. Because you people are watching now, so you should have something. They say, yeah, just take the portion you want. So you push it out to them. So then when you go in your quiet corner, you smile to say, oh, everybody is contributing to make sure that the home is there and that is okay. So what's your own? You also support them. Yeah, and sometimes, we play football here. We get badminton rackets. So everybody on one side, daddy on his own. And they enjoy it. And sometimes you tell them, oh, stories of the past. Oh, grandma used to do this, grandma used to do that. They say, really? How did you survive that? Oh, yeah, grandma was so stern. Grandma used to hit us, and so on and so on. So you told me, when grandma comes, then we'll ask her. So it created that environment where by the time you are back from work, you unwind, life is good, and so on and so forth. And I pray God to keep them in that state. And of course, they have more time with daddy now. And like I said, the batting, the family treasure. If we can struggle to hand it over to them, follow this path. Then of course, pray God gives them the ability to get better than we do. So that subsequently they too hand over the baton to the generations that will come. So the family circle has been so nourishing. That's for the nuclear family. The extended family, like, I have so many younger ones. I tell them, you can't do this. They are mature people, adult, they are families. But when issues go, you can't do this. It's like a decree. The brother said, you can't do this. Therefore, let's forget about it. Okay? Yeah. So that gives me some measure of comfort. These guys are very loyal. So my duty is to pray for them now that they should succeed. Okay. They go, they come back. So, we are back. So God bless you, God keep you, and run. So that measure of cooperation I've gotten has kept me going. So when people come, it's like, you don't panic. What do I need to panic about? Yeah, so that's the place of the farm. It's been a very nourishing one. Cooperative people, both extended, nuclear family. And I just left service now. I was like, everybody's excited. What's calling you? I said, but hey, it's normal retirement now. Why? They said, no, this is special. Why do you consider it special? Oh, you've done so much for us. What else did I do beyond the normal thing? So they appreciate, they cooperate, they are loyal, and of course, I wish them many more blessings from God.
Well, I want to thank you immeasurably, sir, for sharing these rich and amazing experiences with us, and to wish you a fulfilling life ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sparing your time. You should be out doing some business. Yeah, but you decided to have a chat with me. I so much appreciate this. May God bless you.
Thank you, sir.